Oh, Josh is here as well, I think.
Yay! We miss you. I feel like I've not seen you in forever. Fabulous Josh. Josh says like, oh, I'm just talking to Josh and I'm a fabulous Josh. And he goes, yeah.
Fabulous Josh.
That's how you reference it. Fabulous Josh. Yeah, he's new JB. We literally got him, I think, like Friday last week. We went on the Disney store to get Stitch, because they do a monthly like Stitch food pin that Charlotte loves. So we went on there to get that, and I saw the Hey and was like, I can't not buy him. Like,
We also have
especially
Bruce.
with the new set 5 as
You
well.
guys
Yeah,
have
Bruce.
new teddies added to the collection.
Bruce.
I have no new teddies.
But his teeth are like stupidly sharp, so Josh wants to cuddle him at night and then he's like getting scratched in the face.
All of the secrets come out in the live.
Should we actually get started with some Lorcana content? Guys?
This is like
talking about my
No.
personal life.
this is what you guys don't see like before. We've like been doing them before.
Yes, no, I've not been kidnapped, Marvin. Not this time.
Who could kidnap him when Maleficent's guarding him?
Dun, dun, dun. But yes, it's nice to know my absence was felt on Saturday.
Yeah.
So we good. But yeah, look how. Wait, do we need to do the? We didn't do an intro.
Oh yeah,
No,
guys,
'cause
watch the
we-
intro.
Because we were like,
Professional.
Yeah, now we can actually start.
Yeah.
Now the errand's sorted out. Right, hey guys, it's Josh from Illuminauts. I'm here with Dan and Charlotte. We have decided to move to a slightly different podcast format.
Yeah.
We were generally finding with the weekly podcasts that we pre-record and stuff like that, news would come out over the week that we wouldn't be discussing in the week's podcast that we were releasing because we would be doing them the week before.
yeah.
It was getting pretty messy.
Yeah, we were finding it hard to know like what to talk about when and
Mm-hmm.
So we thought what we'd do is we go to a live segment. This can last as long or as little as we want it to. We can chat about not just Lorcana stuff, but
Anything.
other stuff that's
Yep.
happening. And yeah, it gives us a bit more reactive.
You thought you were
space.
here for Lorcana, now it's just going to be a political deep dive for 4 hours.
Why should we make Bob Chapek President of the United States?
We should not.
No, we shouldn't.
We should.
also you guys can ask questions in the chat and
Yeah.
we can reply.
Yeah, so we can be a bit more interactive, a bit more responsive. We have asked for some questions. We've got a couple of things to talk about today. But if you guys do think of anything, Dan is going to be monitoring the chat. So if you've got any questions or you want to make a point about something, please hit us up in the chat and we will respond.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Marvin is saying we need an updated intro where Charlotte jumped in.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's really
Yeah.
sweet. Thank you.
did we like the intro? I still love us dancing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's cute. You guys dancing. I like it.
Classic. Way back. But like podcast number 11, which this would technically be, feels like a good time to do this. Like we
Yeah,
did the other format for a little while. We had the special episode, and like this definitely feels a lot more.
It feels more us.
It's more free.
That's a bit. Yeah, it was really hard for me and Dan. We were having long conversations about stuff that was being spoiled in the week
Yeah.
Yeah.
that wasn't in the podcast, and then we'd get to the next week and be filming the podcast, and we wouldn't remember all the things we'd said,
Yeah.
or like that information would be old. We're gonna try and push to be a little bit more active and live and reactive to live news and content.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because once these guys get started, you can't stop them.
When we get on one, that's it. The tangents will be real in this. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna try not to yawn as much. I already can feel one coming up.
It's a medical thing.
we just dive in front like, oh my god.
Oh, you set me off now.
No, that's it. He mentioned it. He's off.
I mean, I guess the first thing we should start talking about is Set 5.
Yeah.
Set 5 is days away.
Literally days away.
I'm very excited.
I am very, very excited. Like, this more so than, like, I know initially there was a lot of, like, oh, it sounds like a Pokemon set. And Like it felt a little bit like okay, where are they gonna go? Because we had this big build up and face off with Ursula, and now it's like, okay, so this is a party. It's like 1 year of Lorcana, and it does feel a little bit muted in terms of that. We haven't got any really big new gimmicks or anything this time. If anything, we've got slightly less than others. Like they tried out the new shift, they tried out Sing Together towards the end of like the first story arc, and this time we haven't had anything so big. Like we've got a few new things, like the Niners, as I like to call them. Like they're neat. The Niners. But
I was wondering if it would go a little bit like how Magic used to run.
Okay.
So Magic used to run with a core set and then like 3 story sets. So your core set would be generally when you'd invite people to join, like, come and play this game, here are all the basic mechanics you need to know, or all the things that are in the game currently. And then your story set would be a 3 set arc where you normally go to a plane or a place and they would work through a story and you'd get new mechanics from that. So what I'm wondering is if Lorcana is going to go with a similar...
Damn it, Joshy.
I need to sit up more. Sorry, guys. If Lorcana's going to go with a similar kind of vibe where we have like a set each year that is kind of a recap of what we've already had, but is an invitation for new players to join.
Okay.
And I do think you're kind of right with this set. Feels a little muted on new mechanics or interesting things happening or anything in that kind of design space.
But at the same time, it does, like, the more we've got into it and the more I've seen of it, I do feel really excited for it. Because I feel like there is a lot of just tweaks on abilities and stuff that still make it an exciting set. Or we've got new things that we haven't had before.
The card quality in the set is massively up. I think uncommons in this set are crazy good.
Yeah.
The rares are all pretty good, and the super rares and legendaries are... the legendaries are varying. Some of the legendaries I think are like really good, but I think legendaries in a card design space, legendaries fill 2 slots. You have really powerful legendaries, Mufasa. You also have legendaries that are there to please people. So I think, although it's upset a lot of people, the King Candy, the choice of him as like
I think he's great.
The Enchanted.
As an Enchanted and like as a legendary card, and that, I think that's more to do with telling the story and it being like we're introducing this franchise and he's a really important character to that franchise and we want to push that sort of idea. So there are some good cards, there are some... I'm not saying King Candy's bad, don't get me wrong. I'm saying like the legendary slot, oh my god.
Someone put a big thing in the chat.
Yeah, JB said who won the Ursula mat, and then
this one.
You
know how I'm a man with too much money than sense. I bought my Ursula mat off of one of our players who had won multiple Ursula mats for my lovely wife. It was a gift because she said that she really liked it. I'm probably not intending to buy... I'm going to touch lots of wood right now. Any more set champion play mats.
Still a family friendly show.
I'm not intending to buy any more unless they're specific characters, but just like the first one, it being Stitch, it being the first one we did, I bought that one because I wanted it. And then when Charlotte saw this, The Little Mermaid's one of her favourite movies, that and Beauty and the Beast, so yeah, Josh
said, as an outsider looking at the set, because you are a bit more of an outsider now, unfortunately, it seems most inks are getting a clear identity with a few defined styles of play, getting more support in the set. Ruby still looks like it has a few unfleshed out styles of play, high strength, damage taken, challenge, etc. So I agree, and we know how much you love your Ruby lines and your Shere Khans, which they definitely need more Jungle Book representation, more Shere Khan representation as well. Like the fact we didn't get the Shere Khan from Tailspin, where he's wearing a business suit.
That would be great.
It's just tragedy.
I'd like to see some Molly and Baloo and the crows that are all based off of, I think is it the Beatles?
Yes.
Not the crows, they're vultures, aren't they?
The
vultures. Basically, that'd be really funny.
Al Capone as well.
So,
I love him.
So do you guys think the set should have had something, so like locations? because they were like a massive thing when they came in. Do you guys think that maybe they should have been saved for this, like the 1 year anniversary, or do you think it should have been a new thing with like a similar idea?
I think locations came in at the right time. It was like a very much drip feed of new mechanics, new things to get your head around, and it wasn't too much for people new to card games and stuff like that. So I think they came in around the right time. I felt like there would be a bigger, and this is because I'm the narrative freak, but like a bigger narrative fallout from the whole Ursula thing, which would then impact the cards in some way. So the Floodborn was this idea of like that tome being opened and the ink coming out, and that's how we got all the Floodborn characters and the shift and stuff.
Yeah. And
I just thought there would maybe be something like that in the aftermath of everything that happened. But in terms of like everything else, I do think like the overall idea of it being that party and celebration and maybe being a little bit of a breather is also quite a nice idea.
I really like the idea of the like 1-3 model where you have a set just where you're like, this is everything we've done over the past year. Like new players, this is where you need to be. I don't know if Disney are doing that or sticking to that, but if they are, I'd be really happy about it, because I really like being a long-term Magic player. I really enjoyed that kind of format. It made a lot of sense to me. It did mean that like competitive players had a set each year where they were a bit like, oh, this set's kind of boring because it's not got all the shiny cool stuff that all the other sets have. But I think it's important to remember that even now there are new people joining the game.
Yeah, true.
You can't assume everyone has just been playing since day one.
Yeah. JB said they're loving the party atmosphere of the set. Feels more fun and bright than the last set. Yeah, I think that was something that really came out for me when we got the starter decks in hand, and like just the whole colour palette of everything feels so bright.
Yeah,
like
I agree with that.
Like the art has been good and like really good anyway. And I know the Lorcana team won a award at the Dice Tower.
Oh, that's
like
cool.
Expo or awards or something, like for art. So it's definitely
nice,
well deserved. But yeah, the art just really popped.
Yeah, it's like, so pretty. I mean, I think the prettiest card in the set, and I might be a little bit biased, but I think is our Robin Hood. But all of the cards are just they're so bright and vibrant, and
the Enchanted's like they're like another level this set.
I was nervous when we saw the Donald, like, and I've been very vocal about that within the community. When I saw Donald, I was like, no, I don't like how this is going, like, because we heard that they were gonna all be like, you would know it was from set 5.
Yeah.
So I was like, if this is what the rest of them are like, then I'm not looking forward to these. I'm out, yeah. But then like the drip feed of them after, I was like, and then Royal Tantrum dropped, and I was like, okay, I need this. And then Scar, and I was like, okay. And then Mufasa.
The Archimedes, like that's like the top one.
I was chatting to Ben the other day, and I sent him a 2-part message, and the first part was, I don't think I like this set's Enchanted, and he like messaged back like, what's wrong? What's it? And I was like, because I want too many of them. And he was like, you really had me going. Like, I was like, like normally I collect 1 or 2 Enchanteds, or I put them on a list to say like, these are the ones from the set I would like if I can get my hands on them.
Like most of the time as well, I think it's not even necessarily been the art for you, it's just like the character. Yeah,
there's some like, so I mean like the Legacy and Morph were musts for me, because Fresh Plant's my favourite movie. I really want to try and get the still Ariel for Charlotte. I got her Ariel's Grotto from last set. I like, it's whether or not I take a liking to them, and also like if they're important to me. But this set, like, there are some that are really important to me, like story wise or like childhood wise, and they're visually gorgeous, and I'm like, I just normally like I can justify saying like, okay, that's really pretty, but it hasn't got great meaning to me, or you know, that might have some meaning to me, but it's not great art. Whereas with this set, I'm just like, that has meaning to me and is amazing. I need it. Like,
it makes sense.
Just want to pop back to what Josh said quickly, with the Ruby line. The 3 sort of prevalent decks of Ruby that I see are the action deck, which doesn't have enough support of them in it. The self-damage dealing deck, which is interesting because it's kind of being split between Steel, Green and Ruby, and Ruby is kind of the weakest colour for the 3 of them. So the Emerald Steel list is probably going to be the better self-damage deck at the minute.
The rush isn't, because that's Ruby's thing really, isn't it? The rush, and it's not still not quite there.
Yeah.
Where like you have characters that do have rush, but they're such low willpower that they do their stuff and they're gone.
Yeah.
And the last space that like Ruby is filling is a utility space. So I think there are some really good utility cards in Ruby. Good example is Tremaine or Madame Medusa or Be Prepared.
Yeah.
So yeah, Ruby at the minute I don't really feel like has a super colour identity like some of the other colours. Like we know Steel is deal damage. We know Sapphire is like items and extra ink and drawing cards. Those kind of things like.
Yeah, like Amber to me is always like sing songs.
And I think it's got like a bit of a community family
support.
That So I think he's got a good point about that. Ruby still feels a little lost.
Yeah. Let's catch up with some of these. Where's Bagheera? Yep.
Yeah.
Solid question. Yep.
Great question.
We'll take it to Disney right away, don't we?
With all the references, do we think Jafar is really going to be the villain in these next few sets, or is someone going to swoop in and steal the power from him? It feels like that was Marvin. JB, it feels like they are laying the groundwork for a few villains. Jafar seems to be going for the crown, but there's some Hades groundwork from previous sets. Yeah, the Queen
was the one you mentioned.
Yeah, like gathering a court of queens.
Yes,
So like obviously kind of inspired by Ursula working with her other Glimmer, but that was just the two Glimmers working together, and she's got a whole gathering of them. So we'll see how that one pans out.
I'm still thinking like the hints that we've seen. I'm still thinking that Jafar is going to be the main villain, because they've reinforced his sort of villainous activities in this set.
Yeah.
Like there's a couple of cards. There's the Basil. There's him. There's the Hypnotic Gaze. I think it is.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think like I think he will be outlined as a villain, but I'm really interested to see what else is going on because, like you said, we had the Hades who said, "Well, the Sea Witch is keeping everyone busy. I'll get my plans in action."
Yeah.
And we also have the Queens.
Yeah.
I mean,
one
Maleficent.
of the. I was gonna say the Maleficent card, the Diablo one. The lore text on that flavor text is her saying like, "Oh, like go check out what this Sea Witch is up to," sort of thing as well. So
so the other villains are planning things. That's going to be interesting to find out what. I also love the fact they're not allowed into the party.
Yeah,
that makes me really, really,
it's
really
good.
laugh.
I would love for it to actually be like a villain set that because the next one's going to drop October, November time. So if it's a more
like
villain
Halloween.
focused one for Halloween sort of thing,
I love that idea.
that would be pretty good, and like we
Yeah,
actually see them like either working together as like a for like the League of Doom or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And like working together like that, and then because we had like the fact that they mentioned it on the lore cast that time when they revealed the Gizmo Duck armor, and there's the Hall of Heroes. Like we haven't revisited that yet, and I thought it might come in with this a little bit with like the bodyguard element and stuff like that.
We were discussing the fact that like this would be a great time to have the Hall of Heroes, and even like if they revealed like a Hall of villains, like even if they're celebrating them, they're sort of saying, these are the villains that make us great heroes, like sort of thing. Me and you were expecting something. We were expecting to see a bit more of the Illuminary, I think, and a bit more of like like.
But there's something going on with the Chromacons.
Yeah.
Like, that's threaded, and with Merryweather and Fauna and and there's stealing them, moving them for some reason. Everyone's looking for them, so it'd be interesting. Yes, the League of
Spheres,
Villains.
didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah, they've got like retro spheres and fire spheres and stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll see what's going on with that. I agree, hoping Hades makes it to be a big bad soon. The Robin potentially stealing suggests he's going to ruin Jafar's plan. Yeah, I think he's like scoping out from the rooftops, isn't he? He's like part of the security team.
Yeah.
Josh, did we get an answer to our location question? Says Marvin.
What location question? No, I have submitted it. I am waiting on it. So we had some really interesting chat this weekend about the Sugar Rush Speedway and the fact that the card says you may exhaust the character here, deal it 1 damage, move it to a new location.
Okay.
So the two questions we had were, because it's not exhausting, it's not an ability or an effect on a character, can the character be exhausted if they're still wet? Now I have an answer to that. That is no. But the really interesting part is if I have like a 0-1 character there, and I move it from there to the Hidden Cove, at which point does it see that it has the extra health from Hidden Cove? Because it says to move a character from here, you have to do these things.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I move the character and do those things, but the character's now moved, so it's at the new location.
Yeah.
When I resolve the damage, or is it that I need to resolve the damage before I move? The way it's worded, you move it first.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, so no,
But
I've put
it
that...
brings the marbles and the bag into question again, doesn't it?
Yeah, I've posted that question in the question Discord, waiting for an answer on it, so
Okay.
I'll let you know as soon as I know.
Yeah. Hello, Callum, as well.
Hey, Callum!
Who'd like more villain support characters?
Yeah, we had
One
like,
massive Hades.
well, we had like Hades and first set that's like for the number of villains you've got in play. But there aren't a ton of villains in Amber.
No.
Like there are a few. You've got the Queen, but yeah, there's not like the plethora like there is in Amethyst. So.
Yeah.
So like I'm interested to see, that being pushed a bit more.
I think it's interesting as well that he is the god of Olympus in that card, and whilst it's a Dreamborn one, like he is a villain who has succeeded in a plan there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen that with anybody else, so I just
Yeah, true.
it's interesting how the lore works and how like whether because some glimmers are clearly like directly related, whereas others aren't necessarily. So it's interesting with the mix of them. I'd argue Rush is better in Amethyst, to be honest, says Josh.
I mean, the only card that has Rush and Amethyst that matters is Fox, right?
Yeah.
And maybe Rafiki's. Like, they see a little bit of play in the aggro deck, but they're not in there generally for the Rush, they're in there for...
I mean, there's the White Rabbit's Pocket Watch, or is it the...
Yeah, Pocket Watch
some
gives
sort
Rush.
of Alice card that gives...
There's
the Mallet as well.
The Mallet, which is a 1-drop on Inkable. You tap, banish it, give a character Rush this turn. But Pocket Watch is like pay 2 and it's repeatable. But that costs, I think, 3 and is uninkable.
Yeah, a bit Kingdom Heartsy vibes, says Callum, and a multi-team up would be cool. Fox, Peter Pan's Shadow Catcher, and Peter Pan's Shadow are the ones that see play for Rush in.
Yeah. So yeah, like...
Morrison.
Yeah, that sees more play than Ruby, which is fair. But yeah, I think Ruby is supposed to be the Rush colour.
Yeah.
I want to answer one of the questions we got asked about.
Go for it.
I think it's kind of come
put a link on Instagram.
Kind of comes into this. One of the questions we had was, what decks do we think are underexplored? So I think that Charlotte's posing for the photo Dan is taking, even though you guys can't see any of that.
You will if you follow the Instagram.
Yeah, go follow Instagram and X.
I think these guys probably already do, to be honest.
Anybody
else that's on YouTube.
Yeah, the way Illuminauts works is this guy runs Instagram, this lady runs X, and I try and coordinate everything between the middle. So, so it was a question about decks and what decks do we think have been or deck combos have been underutilized so far. So my biggest thought on this is, I think Sapphire as a colour is kind of underutilized because you've obviously got the Sapphire Steel and Sapphire Ruby decks, but they're both quite item heavy push decks. They're both kind of control-y. I'd like to see Sapphire with some of the other colours, so Sapphire Emerald, Sapphire Amethyst, and Sapphire Amber. I'd really like to see Sapphire Amber because I'd love to see double Mufasa. So I'd love someone to have a yellow Mufasa, an Amber Mufasa, for it to be defeated, and then to flip the blue Mufasa off their deck. Like, that'd be really fun.
Which would be useful.
The colours I'm most interested in playing in this new set is Steel Emerald, which is kind of funny because everyone's like, oh, you're going to play the discard deck, and I'm really not interested in that. The thing I'm really excited about is getting to shift the Robin Hood that we spoiled on top of a Robin Hood Champion of Sherwood. So the champion's a 3/6, shift 3, and basically we can have him come in and attack something, and then we shift our Robin on top, and then when you quest with it, because it's got damage on it, it'll be able to quest for more. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm really interested in seeing that. well, I'm really interested in playing that combo. I'm going to play quite a Robin Hood heavy deck. I think there are some good Robin Hood cards. One of the cards that's an honourable mention for that, I think, is the Yzma as well. She's really good.
Yeah, that one really surprised you when we did our starter deck.
And when I played at the weekend with it, it just gets people.
Yeah.
It just gets people.
Okay.
Little John was a card that I was not prepared for.
Mm-hmm.
He's a 0/4 for 1 that quests for 1.
Yeah.
And
he just stayed there the entire game that we played.
It's just awkward.
On
like,
yeah.
I don't I have to either use 2 guys to take him out, and it's like that's a turn off for me.
Does he have bodyguard?
No.
No, but he's just
going to sit there.
Like, and then just keep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose.
But I didn't want to waste the time getting rid of him. But in the end, I think the amount Dan won by was probably the amount of law that Little John won. Like, was pumping for the game.
Yeah.
Like,
just consistently be able to like turn him sideways. Just felt really good.
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
And like I said, he's a 0/4. He's really hard to get rid of.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 is such a like sweet spot in Lorcana where there's been quite a few characters that are 3, and it's like, okay, we can make that work. Like, as someone who plays Steel a lot, like a Grabby Sword and a Tinkerbell, like I'm pretty safe like with that.
Yeah.
But 4, like that's still gonna be sat there,
Yeah.
even after all that. So
yeah,
it's a good number in terms of Lorcana numbers. Like,
Yeah.
4 willpower is big because there's not many on the other side as well that challenge or do damage for 4.
A lot of the things that do aren't rush.
Yeah.
So it's very like clearly telecasted. So I was also thinking like goat or rabbit. Is it one of them is a 4/3?
Yeah.
And yeah, like obviously
Goat.
you know that's there. Like so, yeah.
yeah. Like at the weekend, I played Chenpo.
Because
of
the house.
I was playing Mulan, and like I didn't realise until I played him because I'd not really played with him. Just like getting him out, like everyone I was against was like, oh, like
whoa.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
I can't take her anyway, guys.
Wow.
We're no longer family friendly.
Who thought there would be Charlotte that would
I
spend
know,
everything?
right? Everyone's so surprised when I swear. I was like, it's really funny.
You know what?
It's okay. Like,
I think you've lost hey for cookies.
Disney, like, you know, PG ratings. Disney gets the one spot.
I said we can say it once. Right, no more.
That's it. No more.
If you want to talk about Chenpo though, I think we need to talk about this boy. Because in the new set, there's a new one.
He has bodyguard and he's a steal as well.
Like, we do have the questions, but we're, like, our answers just cross between everything. Because it's like the new cards we're excited about, we're excited to put into decks. And then that means that some of it's going to be new colours because we're like, oh yeah, this one works. Well, new inks because this works with this and stuff like that. So, yeah, the questions are getting answered, but just in a very roundabout way, which is about right for us.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Have we got any more questions in chat? Because I don't want to miss anything.
Yes. AI Moy or A Moy? I don't know who that one is, but hello. I'm excited to see a Sapphire Emerald deck for sure.
Yeah, what would Sapphire Emerald do? Cause like
mono decks need more play. Are we allowed to do mono deck? Like,
yeah, mono decks are allowed.
They're
It is
allowed.
up to 2 ink colours.
Okay.
I just think.
I mean, you could always just run 59 of one colour and one of a different ink.
I think we're less likely to see mono decks purely because in Magic or other card games, your resources are very much tied to the colour you play. So, for example, in Magic, to play your green cards, you need to have green lands. To play your white cards, you need to have white lands.
Yeah.
Whereas in Lorcana, because ink is just this sort of nebulous do-it-all flavour, I think we're less likely to see monocolour decks. The only way we might end up seeing monocolour decks is if we get to like a critical mass of cards in a colour that are just better than going outside the colour. But if we get to that point, I would be very surprised because...
Well, because like we say, like...
That's bad game design.
Yeah, and like we said earlier, it's like you think of a colour and like a lot of them have a niche kind of tied to them. So it's like... It makes sense to then mix those because that might not really be that prevalent in, like, say, another colour.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm thinking about, like, in Sapphire, there's very little removal, and the removal we do have puts it in the inkwell. In Steel, all of our removal is damage-based. In Amber, a lot of our removal is either power toughness-based or combat-based. there's not a ton of removal in Emerald. There's a couple of damage spells to do with damaged characters, but there's not a ton of removal. Obviously, Ruby's got the suite of the actual removal.
Yeah, the actual removal.
So like, there's cards that do a little bit of it in all colours, but the cards that are really good are sort of tied to a single colour.
Yeah. I think that's a big thing that drives Lorcana is that inks are very specific, and we're seeing that come out more in the Chromicons and these random like artifacts that we've had.
Yeah.
A couple of like the Fortisphere, Retrosphere.
The Emerald Chromicon looks crazy to me. I think it's going to be absolutely insane. I just think like I can see why they needed to nerf Bucky if that was coming as well.
Yeah.
Because like you just shift a bunch of guys in and make your opponent pick up their entire board while you're drawing and making them discard. Like it would have just got really silly.
Yeah. I think the Amethyst one's going to be fun for sealed because it's just exert, both players draw a card.
Yeah.
And I think in a sealed format, you're still giving your opponent a card, but to be able to do that yourself every turn is like really solid.
Like
as well.
we did a fun sealed a little while back, and I took RSL Legacy Cannons because I was like they're removal. And what ended up losing me games was literally just not having enough cards because I had to discard them to do the removal of the legacy and so draw cards are like so important. I think it's like the most important thing in sealed. I mean we have our little acronym that we use.
Yeah, that we're pushing out now.
Yeah, we're gonna
changed it.
Yeah, so
dream
now.
We used to use bread, which is an old Magic term.
Stale.
But we are Disney kids at heart, so we decided we're going to use Dream, and we've got some acronyms that fit around that, and there'll be more stuff coming about that in the coming weeks, especially with our release event on Saturday. We'll be giving out some information to try and help you guys navigate that a bit easier.
Yes, I've made I sat and went through the whole set today and looked at mostly commons and uncommons, but everything else, because obviously they're the ones that you're going to
see
be more realistically and more reliably going to see.
If you open the really good card, the really good legendary,
you throw that in anyway.
You're playing that. The questions really come up on
unless
what the other...
you do what I did in the last set and you draw the Cinderella, which was like the Singer
5.
Was it Singer 10? Was it Singer 10?
Oh,
Singer 7?
Yeah.
The big Cinderella, but she's not really that well statted, and it was like, I have 0 songs. I opened 0 songs, so I was like, you're just going to sit on the side.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cindy, but...
Fair.
Yeah. So yeah, still use your legendaries wisely, because I also included the Prince Philip in that, which was like a 7 cost, but could shift, and I never had enough ink to get him out.
I did that in sealed, and again...
Go low to the ground in sealed, keep it low.
Yeah, I think you want to be like low to mid-range.
Yeah.
Like some of the higher cost cards, like the damage Robin Hood that's in the set. Like, if you have a good damage deck, you can play that, but I don't necessarily think like that would be a sweet choice.
Yeah, I think that because all of the Niners, to go back to them, they're the like cards they've added this set. They all cost 9. They're all uninkable, but they all have like some sort of gimmick to getting them out sooner.
Yeah.
And I think because they're rare, there's a good chance you will hit one maybe 2 of them in your 6 packs. But you need to build your deck around that to really like. There's no point in running the Sheriff of Nottingham if you've not got any items.
Yeah.
And even if you do, like, you want to really be hitting 4 or 5 items on board to get him out for 5 instead. So, you really have to, like, think around those. But if you can utilise them, then they're going to be big cards.
Yeah.
So.
We've got quite a lot
Tons of stuff's going on in chat.
We do, yeah.
Pointed the chat.
The chat pointed it. Right, where do we get to? Daisy Duck sounds more scary.
Oh, okay.
Josh,
we were talking this is one of my favourite and least favourite cards in this set. It's so powerful. This is the Amber Daisy Duck that costs 1. She quests for, is it 3 or is it 2? I can't remember.
I want to say it's 2.
I want to say it's 3. But the downside to her is that she lets your opponent look at the top card of their deck.
I hope we're still on. I hope we're still live. We should be.
I'm looking, it's fine.
It's fine. I'm going to go find the Daisy.
So yeah, she costs 1. She quests for 3, I'm pretty sure of that. This is where I'm completely wrong.
Yeah.
So we're like, it quests for nothing. And
someone in chat's probably corrected me by now. You two are both
probably.
We're so slow.
But the thing is, like, she lets your opponent look at the top card of their deck.
Quest for 2.
Oh, she quest for 2.
Oh, he beat me.
She's a 1/4 though, I think.
She is. Oh my God,
I don't know what she is. All I know is that she's a really broken card. She was spoiled by Earlmaster.
Gem's during the chat as well. Hello, Gem.
Hey, Gem. She was spoiled by Earlmaster, who I met at the Disney content creator meetup, and he was lovely. He was such a nice guy. He just had a daughter, bless him. And he was like, this is the first Lorcana event I've managed to be able to get to because I've been so busy.
Yeah, she costs 1, she's a 1/4, and she quests for 2.
Yeah, so she's really hard to get rid of. Like, I was saying earlier about the little John being a 0/4 and it being, like, annoying to get rid of him. But she quests for 2 and also does a damage back.
That does sound annoying.
The downside to her is that when you quest with her, your opponent gets to look at the top card, or I think it's reveal the top card of their deck, and if it's a character card, they get to put it in their hand. But like, I'm so about that. Like, I don't care that you get to, like, I still get to see what you put in your hand.
Yeah.
So I still know what's coming, and I can just fill your hand full of cards you might not be able to play because you haven't got a think or whatever. Like, yeah, she's so powerful. She's so powerful. Are you trying to get the card in stream? Oh, cool.
Oh, I'm trying to put it in for you.
Yeah, this card.
Over me. There we go. That's perfect. This one.
Yeah, it's such a strong card.
Look at the magic of...
You could put it over chat.
Technology.
Because everyone else can see chat.
Well, that's what they would see. This is the thing. So they wouldn't see it anymore. I know what you mean. That's fine.
I'm so confused.
But yeah, that's all right.
This is the Daisy. Yeah, she costs 1. She's not inkable, but I don't think we would ever ink her.
When it costs 1, I don't think that matters really.
No.
Interesting statement. You might have to back that up with some proof at some point.
So what kind of proof do I need?
If it costs 1, because by that logic, all cards that cost 1 could not be inkable and it'd be fine, right?
Sure.
But I don't think that statement's true. I get quite a lot of 1-drops I've inked on the turn 3 or 4. But we're getting off the point here. Yeah, she is a 1-drop. She quests for 2. She's got a massive butt. She's a 1/4.
A massive butt.
I think
her downside's just not a downside. I just don't like.
I think to go against Charlotte's argument slightly, if you have got 1 card in hand that is a 5 cost and you've got 4 ink down and somehow you've emptied your hand and you top the deck this one, are you really going to be wanting to play Daisy Duck for the 1, or are you going to be wanting to be playing that 5 cost card?
Well, I suppose it depends what the 5 cost card is, right? Because the Daisy
if it's Finders Keepers, then you get to draw 3 new cards.
the Daisy costs 1, but she quests for 2. Like, I don't see any downsides here.
Okay, but your opponent's got a full board and you're really digging for like the whole new world. Yeah, she looks really good. She looks really strong. I like looking at aggro. There's a really good Amethyst Amber aggro list. We've got a new Maleficent that's a 2-drop that's inkable, that quests for 2. We've also got Baby Lilo. We've got Baby Maleficent. Like, yeah. I think we've got Pua, who also, he quests for 2. And he costs 1 more, but then like he goes back to your hand.
Yeah, from this last set.
Yeah, like I think there could be this really aggressive deck, and it'll be interesting to see how people deal with it, because a lot of the characters in it have 3 toughness.
Yeah.
They're not just swordsable.
I know this is breaking the rules of streams slightly, but to direct a question directly to somebody in chat, Josh, how do we feel about the card that is just gain 2 lore? Because I know you're a big lover of the goat, but now we have an action which is like
gathering knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah.
Like 2 cost uninkable, just gain 2 lore. So how do you personally feel about that one?
I hate that card personally.
Hate it.
Yeah.
In capitals, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Josh.
What's
Jem says, Josh is a big believer in Namori Morning Mist. Jem said that they didn't include a big Sisu in the last sealed, and that was a tough decision, but then Josh pointed out that Jem did win anyway, so it was not really a decision that impacted anything.
Yeah.
I think like that big Sisu is a really great combo card. It's a really good example of what we were saying earlier. Like, that card is really great if you have the pieces to make it work. But like if you don't, it's not amazing. It's a good card still. I still probably would have included it, Jim, but it's not, the be all and end all.
Yeah.
Just because it's a legendary.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want people thinking like, oh, I opened a legendary, so I have to play it, and it's like.
Yeah.
No, not at all. Maureen said, giving a character that isn't bad, but putting a non-character to the bottom is really strong. Strong.
Yeah, like if you're playing.
Her downside is just not enough, but I'm just angry that merfolk don't discard on quest.
Oh, okay, that's an interesting idea. Yeah, I mean, like that's a really interesting card we could see in the future. Actually, a 1-drop that does that.
Yeah, these repeatable abilities on quest are like, I think they do take a lot of balancing, and we don't see too many of them. I mean, you've seen the impact Flaversham has, like on play and quest, like, and that he has been such a staple for Sapphire decks with the items and stuff. Like the card draw of him is insane. So, yeah, they need a lot of balancing, but I think it's fair.
Yeah, the Game 2 lore card makes me very sad, just because I
just slapping that on the table if like they're at 18.
It's
you're
like,
I hate
you're there like spending your entire turn working out how you stop your opponent to get there, and then they just like untap and play that, and you're like, oh, okay, my entire turn was.
Well, it was bad enough knowing that they could go and then bounce it with like a snake.
Yeah.
To get the 2 lore, but then at least they have to be using like 6 ink. Yeah. Whereas now it's like, they just need 2.
Yeah. Doesn't even really feel like.
The fact that it's an amethyst as well, like amethyst is slowly becoming my least favourite colour. It really rubs me up the wrong way.
Oh, why?
It's a very control-y colour, and I'm more of a combo player than a control player. So yeah, I don't particularly like. I mean, I guess if we're talking about amethyst, we should talk about the big question that we got asked that I think is a really legitimate question to ask. What card is better, Finders Keepers or Friends on the other side? Finders Keepers is the new. Finders Keepers is the new 5-drop inkable.
Sounds like
draw
it's
3
not
cards.
even a question.
Friends is obviously 3-cost inkable, draw 2 cards. Friends is also a song.
Yeah.
And
that's just ultimately what clinches it. Like, it's a song. You can play it for free.
Yeah.
The other reasoning I have is I played Magic for a long time, and there's a card called Divination, which is 3-cost, draw 2, and there is a card called Jace's Ingenuity, which is 5-cost, draw 3. And Jace's Ingenuity has been printed twice, I think, last time I looked. Divination has been printed maybe 10 plus times. There's a reason that card is like good. It's in the sweet spot. It rewards you with enough for the cost you pay for it.
Yeah.
And the fact that Friends is singable it easily pushes it over the edge for Finders Keepers. Yeah. So there's the answer to that question for
Chad just said Friends.
Yeah, Friends.
Straight up Friends.
Yeah. Nate, it's Friends.
Gem I love control.
Like Gem is a great example of someone brand new to a card game finding an archetype they really enjoy and understand, and just playing it and learning how it works. Just for me, like when I started playing Magic, there were a lot of combo decks around at the time, and so I had a combo deck, and I ended up just falling in love with that. I mean, aggro is also fun, but I think aggro's a lot more difficult than people realise. A lot of people think of aggro as just like make stuff and quest with it, or make stuff and fight with it, and actually the combat maths in it, like the do I quest here, do I fight here, those decisions actually matter a lot more in a aggro deck than they do in any other deck.
Yeah.
Because it can be as simple as like you choosing to quest with a character one turn that changes you winning the game to losing the game.
Yeah. 100%.
Whereas in some decks like Control, it's a little more forgiving of that choice. It's still not, you're not free to do whatever you want and you're going to definitely win, but it's a lot less punishing. I just like, for me, I really like setting up all the pieces, especially like with Lorcana, it being all like Disney related. Getting to say like my Gaston sings my song from Hercules and then my Elsa takes you out, like, yes, I'm so in.
Just all those different little elements coming together.
Yeah.
I just like that there is so many different ways, and like that people are still finding new uses for old cards and things like that. I think it's really good. Hello, Lorcana sign.
I don't know if that's on stream or not.
I think my head's in the way, to be honest, so it's fine.
A lovely metal sign. Our usual set, Justin.
So I think I'm going to wrap it up here, but I do have two last things to do.
Do we want to wrap it?
Okay, have you guys got anything
Now
else you
that
want?
we're live.
That was one of the things I was about to ask, but never mind. Have you guys got any other questions you want to ask in the chat, or have you two got anything you want to mention?
I was just gonna mention the Fix It Felix cards.
Yeah.
And I think they work really well together, and I could see some good stuff for that. I know Stefan, like in the Discord, like is pretty excited for those as well. And I was just looking at them today as part of doing a sealed thing, and if you can get those together, that is like a strong combo between the two of them, and like beefing up your locations by 2. Like some of those locations are already difficult to get rid of. So
yeah, there are some great new locations in this set as well.
And he's quite. I think he's like a 3/4 himself as well. Like the shifted Felix. So he's a fairly beefy boy.
I was just thinking about there's the library as well, isn't there?
That was really good.
Draw card.
Yeah.
That card's really interesting.
Yeah.
And obviously the Speedway, which we already mentioned, that card. I think that card makes some other cards that weren't really playable very playable now. Because there's a lot of characters you don't want putting damage on to be at a location.
Yes. Yeah. 100%.
It might be a location that you wouldn't play normally because the cost to move stuff there is too high.
Yes.
So yeah, should be interesting. The other thing I wanted to talk about was there's still 2 things. One of them is Friday. Me and Dan will be down at the Disney Store in London.
And Charlotte.
Charlotte might be there.
Yeah, they're not there anymore.
Dan and Dan's partner, hey Abby, are going to be there. Charlotte might tag along, I guess. if we decide that's a good idea. It depends if she keeps on saying things like 1-drops are all uninkable, or swearing.
That's not what I said.
They're swearing. Like they're not gonna let you in.
They're not gonna let you in the Disney store if you swear at them.
We have a wanted poster. Do not let this lady in.
We are going to be down at the Disney store. Please hit us up with a message if you are going. Let us know if we have a chance to meet you guys or see you guys or catch up or whatever. That'd be great.
Yeah, we're around the King's Cross area Thursday night.
Yes. Yeah.
If anyone wants a few games, we'll probably have decks.
yeah. I'm going to take some with me. And then finally, we need a hot take.
Super live hot takes.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about these podcasts, they've always been one take anyway, basically. Unless we've somehow like
lost
the phone, like the phone's gone dead, or the footage had no sound.
Yeah.
Like the mics. We used to have the little clip-on mics, and they just went dead. So things have been slightly upgraded, but
yeah, we're gonna change hot take slightly. It's not gonna be I want a hot take from everyone. I want to alternate this. So we're gonna start with Dan. Just to be punishing.
Just to be punishing.
Yeah. What's your hot take?
Wow. Hot take.
It's hard when the set's just been released or is about to be released. I feel because it's like.
Yeah, my hot take is that we'll see a lot of new ink combinations come forth in the meta. I know people are already really excited about Blurple. So Sapphire and Amethyst, because I refuse to use colours. But Samethyst doesn't really. Sapphist. No, I'm working on that one. I think they're going to come about, but I think Birmingham will still be won by Ruby Amethyst.
So I think that's a really good hot take. I think we're going to see a bunch of new archetypes in the meta, because I think a lot of cards in this set enable a lot of archetypes that have been kind of middling to this point. But I still think that Sapphire items and Ruby Amethyst are not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I think those 2 decks will still be quite prevalent.
Steel Song. Alan Adale. I really like Alan Adale. And I keep seeing people's tier lists and people not putting it on there, but
no, I like that card.
It's a flute with legs, but like a repeatable flute with legs.
Yeah. No, I think that card's really good. Still Song. I should have mentioned. You are right. Still Song as well. The one deck I don't know about that with is Steel Emerald. I don't know if that deck changes into the damage deck or if the discard deck is still just efficient enough.
That'd be
I really don't know what happens with that. But yeah, I think
Prince John's Mirror.
Those 4 sort of decks we're probably still going to see iterations of in the new set.
Yeah.
But I do think there are lots of opportunities for other archetypes. Maybe even same colours, just different archetypes from those colours to come
100%.
forward. But yeah, great hot take, Dan.
Thank you.
Cool. Thanks a lot, everyone.
We'll wrap up chat.
Just check.
Josh said, doesn't the bookie thing become legal this weekend? Which is
No.
Not just yet.
No, it
because
is.
we've got to work out how they're getting them to people as well. We haven't had any more updates on that, have we?
So it doesn't become legal until
2 weeks after.
2 weeks after the release, and they will be printing new versions of Bucky to be handed out to the community in some way. That's all I'm allowed to say.
Yeah.
I've been explained how it's going to happen. It's a really great idea. It's not going to cost anyone money, which is kind of the big thing. It's been well thought out.
That's nice.
That's good.
Yeah.
So yes, the reprints are coming of Bucky. All of those details are in the planning stage at the minute, and I can't divulge any more of that.
Fair.
I don't know any more than that, to be honest. I just have a vaguely I have a vaguely better understanding of that.
Yes. JB is not going to London, but will be at DICE on Friday. Yeah, I'm sure lots of other people will be.
We're going to try and get back before DICE closes, because I'd like to get my stuff Friday night.
Josh
but
couldn't go.
I've said that, and I've realised like I want to film a bunch of content with my stuff. So, and I don't want to do that Friday night, so I'm not going to be opening boxes Friday night. So maybe we can just get it on Saturday.
But we'll see.
I mean, yeah, are you going to be at the store on Saturday, guys? Because we've got our sealed event.
Yeah.
Starts at 11. It's £30 entry. Everyone gets 6 boosters to build their deck with and a guaranteed prize booster, and then we'll have pricing for the top.
I think we've got a little bit of stuff left over from.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
I did a blowout this weekend. Yeah.
Big summer blowout.
Did a big summer blowout and handed out deck boxes and dials and pins and all sorts.
Nice.
Copy of Charlotte's rock paper scissors cards.
I never got a chance to enter the tournament to win the red one.
Oh.
The one, but I have won another pin from Meeples, so
nice.
I just don't know what that is because it's random.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if Gem's been to Gem. Have you been to collect yours yet? If you're still around and in the chat. And the other one was Jordan.
Oh.
So like full on Illuminati.
Yeah.
And that was just random.
Did the guys like the rock paper scissors cards?
Marvin won them. Marvin, do you like the rock paper scissors cards?
Let's see what else we got while they're replying. My hot take: Wreck-It Ralph would be the real MVP of Amber, not Daisy.
Okay.
Alan with Emerald and Muses is going to be interesting. Josh's hot take is referee Pete won't be as oppressive as people think. Fair.
I think people are overhyping that card. I'd agree with the same with Josh. Like, I think he's good. Don't get me wrong. He can come down on some really key turns, but he stops them playing actions for the next turn. It's not a repeatable effect. So like, you stop them playing Be Prepared when they have 7 ink, so they do something and then pass back to you, and then you pass back and they play Be Prepared anyway. I don't think it's going to be quite as breaking as people think. I understand there's obviously like a bounce idea with him as well, which would be interesting, but I don't think it's going to be quite as oppressive as people are worried about.
I agree. And then it's just Marvin saying some stuff, but
is it Marvin stuff that we can't read on stream?
No, we can read. He has a spare red pin. You can't have it. Just bragging.
Okay.
Thanks, Marvin. They're great, and I was hoping for them in terms of the
sweet.
The rock paper scissors cards.
Glad you got them, dude. So
poor Marvin. Don't poor Marvin. The last time he jumped in the chat, he was having a go at me. Well, not having a go at me. That's harsh. Sorry, Marvin. I will apologize for that. He was complaining about my teaching skills as well.
Oh, he was, yes.
Oh,
so he just joins these streams to pick on me.
All right, guys. Well, I think we're gonna end it there. Thank you so much for coming through our live stream. We will be live again next Thursday.
Tuesday.
Thursday.
Next Tuesday. God, even.
Days.
Yeah, we will be live again next Tuesday, same time at 8 o'clock UK time.
We'll try and keep swearing to a minimum.
Next
time?
To a 0.
We'll see if we let Charlotte back on the couch.
I can leave, it's fine, I don't mind.
We are also going to talk to some people about doing some guest appearances on our live streams
Yeah,
as
we'd
well.
love to have people come on and
So keep
now we've got this snazzy, I say snazzy setup. Now we have a setup like we should be able to fathom, like we managed it for the
Store Champs,
like getting 2 feeds into this thing, so that was good practice. So we should be able to get people, even if you can't be here in person, get people dialed in.
Online.
So
and this will go up on YouTube whenever Dan decides.
Almost straight away, I think. You can basically just export it across. Unless I need to edit out somebody.
You might need to beep out the swearing,
but tiny edit.
Yeah.
So.
Other than that, it should come up pretty much straight away. So if anyone, anyone wanted to watch it and can make it today, let them know. It'll be on our YouTube as well. All right, guys. Well,
we'll wrap it up there. So have a magical week, and we'll see you real soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.